Hi, welcome to Room 3. Today I'll be reading Chapter 2, The Beginning of a Journey. Here we go. It was morning on August 22nd, 1992, and the sun had not yet risen. John Wayne Harrison sat at his kitchen table, a steaming cup of coffee in one hand and a newspaper in the other. He skimmed the help wanted ads, eyes flittering from one potential job to the next. His gaze stopped at an ad that was unusually brief. Weed abatement needed, Metropolitan Water District. John circled the ad, noting the address, and decided to take a chance. At 6 a.m. sharp, I found myself on a dirt road, the world around him still wrapped in the early morning quiet. The address from the ad led me to a remote house with the garage door open. As I pulled up, I noticed a line of vehicles parked outside, hinting that I wasn't the only one responding to the ad. I parked my car and walked toward the garage, where the gear was meticulously arranged on the wall. The gear was a curious assortment: rattlesnake chaps, a yellow hard hat, leather gloves, safety glasses, a harness, and a weed whacker with a carbon-tipped blade. I chuckled to myself, wondering who would have to put all this, sorry guys, sorry. Wondering who would have to put on all this equipment. As the clock struck 6, two men, presumably bosses, appeared and directed everyone to put the gear hanging on the wall on. I quickly followed suit. A mix of excitement and trepidation swirled in my gut. Once geared up, me and the others were herded into back of several Ford F-150s. They were driven up into the hills, the road narrowing as they climbed higher into the rugged terrain. Upon reaching their destination, the workers were unloaded and instructed to line up 50 feet apart. Their task was straightforward: clear the land of sage, manzanita, wild brush, which had been untouched for centuries. The first day was brutal. The temperature soared to 115 degrees, and the heat was relentless. By the time John stumbled home, he was exhausted and couldn't barely manage the shower before collapsing into bed. He slept soundly. The day labor and distant blur in his dreams. The next morning, John arrived at the work site to find out to find only one other worker there. The bosses seemed stunned. They couldn't believe that out of 15 men, only 2 had returned. John struggled, John shrugged, accustomed to hard work, and joined the remaining worker, a man named Tony, in the back of the truck. The day was a repeat of the previous, with the sun beating down and the work demanding every ounce of their strength. As they labored side by side, John and Tony began to bond, sharing stories and jokes to pass the time. They gave each other nicknames. John became Cowboy and Tony became Pee-wee, which is true. It's true. The camaraderie helped them endure the grueling conditions. Hi. For 2 weeks, John and Tony showed up each day, the only two who persisted. They were a team, driving each other to push through the fatigue and the heat. At the end of 2 weeks, their boss called them into the office and introduced them to Mike, a higher up they had never met. Mike congratulated them on their perseverance and rewarded their efforts with a $2 raise, promoting them to supervisors. John was ecstatic. The recognition and the promotion were a testament of his hard work and determination. As they sat in a meeting with the big bosses, a map was unveiled on the wall. It outlined a 27-mile area that was to be transformed into a lake, and all the surrounding brush had to be cleared. The bosses looked at John and Tony, asking if they thought it was possible to complete the task with a team of 15 men in 3 months. John considered the scope of the project and the challenges they had to face in just 2 weeks. He spoke honestly. "Good luck with that one, sir." The bosses looked puzzled, prompting John to explain. "Well, in the past 2 weeks, are any indication, it's going to be tough to keep 15 guys out there constantly, and the amount of brush we've cleared so far is just a drop in the bucket compared to the whole area." That evening, John and Tony celebrated their achievements. They had earned their stripes through sheer grit and determination. Little did they know what awaited them in the days to come. The challenges were far from over, but John was ready to face whatever came next with his new partner by his side. Chapter 3. See you next week. Later, guys. Hope you liked it. Please subscribe, share, leave some comments, whatever you need to do. Thank you, guys.